Let me tell you something. Fellas may not always say it out loud, but there's something powerful about a woman who's grown, confident, and knows herself. You see, men can be attracted to beauty, but they fall in love with peace, maturity, and self-assurance. When a woman reaches a certain point in life, she's no longer chasing validation. She is the validation, and that's what makes her magnetic. Older women have lived. They've been through love, lost lessons, and growth. They know how to carry themselves, how to speak truth without yelling, how to set standards without apology. And let me tell you, a man feels that. See, a man can't resist a woman who brings peace instead of problems. He can't resist a woman who's not impressed by his money because she's already built her own life. She's not waiting for a man to complete her. She's looking for a man who can match her. And that's where the attraction really starts. You know what else? Older women have emotional intelligence. They know when to talk and when to stay quiet. They understand timing. They don't play games. And they don't chase. They attract. That calm confidence draws men in. Because when you've met enough storms in life, you start to become the calm. And men crave that calm more than anything. Let me tell you something. Confidence is the most magnetic thing a woman can ever have. When a man meets a woman who carries herself with assurance, with that quiet strength that says, I know who I am, he can't help but be drawn to her. It's not about looks, makeup, or fancy clothes. It's about energy, the kind of energy that walks into a room and changes the atmosphere. Older women often have that kind of presence because they've lived long enough to know what really matters. They're not trying to be someone else. They're not comparing themselves to others, and they're not begging for attention. That level of self-acceptance is something a man feels deep down. It's not loud, it's not forced, but it's powerful. When a woman is comfortable in her own skin, she becomes unforgettable. A confident woman doesn't chase validation because she already knows her worth. She doesn't need a man to tell her she's beautiful or smart or strong. She already knows it. And that confidence changes how she moves, how she talks, how she treats herself. A man notices that. He notices the way she walks with purpose, the way she looks people in the eye, the way she speaks with certainty. She's not seeking approval, she's just being her authentic self. And men are drawn to that because confidence is rare. Most people are insecure, pretending, hiding behind masks. But when a woman shows up real, grounded, and unapologetic, it's like a breath of fresh air. Confidence also means she's not afraid to be alone. She enjoys her own company. She's learned that peace is better than fake love, that solitude is better than chaos. A man finds that kind of woman mysterious because she's not waiting for him to make her happy. She's already happy. He can sense that she's choosing him out of desire, not out of need. That's a huge difference. Men can feel the difference between a woman who's desperate for attention and one who's simply open to connection. The first one drains him. The second one inspires him. That's why men are naturally pulled toward women who know who they are. When a confident woman speaks, her voice carries weight because it comes from experience. She doesn't argue just to be right. She speaks to bring clarity. She doesn't lower her standards to fit in. She stands tall and lets the right people rise to meet her. A man finds that incredibly attractive. He sees a woman like that and thinks, she's different. She's got something I can't quite explain. That's the power of confidence. It's silent, but it speaks volumes. And let's be real, confidence doesn't mean arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about knowing your value without needing to prove it. It's about saying, this is who I am, and I'm enough. That kind of self-respect sets the tone for how others treat you. When a woman respects herself, she teaches the world how to love her. Men can't resist that. They admire a woman who values her time, her energy, her boundaries. It shows she's got standards, and a real man loves a challenge. Confidence is also contagious. When a man is around a woman who's sure of herself, it pushes him to step up. It makes him want to become better, more focused, more responsible. She becomes his motivation, not because she's demanding it, but because her energy inspires it. That's what older women often bring into a man's life. Stability mixed with strength, kindness balanced with firmness. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. At the end of the day, confidence is that invisible quality that makes everything else shine brighter. You can have beauty, intelligence, and success. But if you don't believe in yourself, none of it will feel complete. But when you do, when you truly accept who you are and stand in that power, men notice, they respect it, they admire it, and they can't resist it. Peace is something every man secretly craves, even if he doesn't know how to say it. When a man has been out in the world dealing with stress, competition, pressure, and problems, what he wants most when he comes home isn't noise or chaos, it's peace. And when he meets a woman who carries peace in her spirit, who knows how to bring calm instead of conflict, he feels something different. It's not just attraction, it's relief. That kind of woman becomes a safe place for him, not because she's trying too hard, but because her energy is steady. Older women often have that kind of peace because they've lived through enough storms to know what's worth fighting for and what's not. They've learned that peace is more valuable than being right, and that silence can be stronger than shouting. Men can't resist women who bring that peaceful energy into their lives. You can tell when she walks into a room, she's not rushing, she's not competing, she's not trying to prove a point. She's calm, she's centered, and that makes a man instantly feel at ease. In a world full of noise, she feels like stillness, and men are drawn to that because it's rare. When a man meets a woman who can calm his storm instead of adding to it, he begins to crave her presence. He feels safe being himself around her. He doesn't have to wear a mask. He doesn't have to perform. He doesn't have to constantly defend himself. She gives him peace without even trying. This kind of peace doesn't come from pretending. It comes from maturity. A woman who's been through heartbreak, disappointments, and still chooses kindness, that's strength. She doesn't use her pain as a weapon. She turns it into wisdom. She knows when to speak and when to stay quiet. She knows how to listen without judging. She knows that not every argument deserves a reaction. A man notices that. He sees how she handles situations, how she doesn't lose her composure when things get tough. And that makes him respect her even more, because peace is power. And when a woman has mastered that, she becomes irresistible. Men are often misunderstood when it comes to love. They're not looking for perfection. They're looking for peace. They don't want someone who constantly points out their flaws or compares them to others. They want someone who believes in them, who encourages them, who brings warmth into their space. Older women tend to understand that balance. They don't waste energy trying to control a man. They guide with grace. They don't demand attention. They create connection. That kind of presence makes a man want to stay. He'll protect her, cherish her, and do anything to keep that peace in his life. Peaceful women don't gossip, don't nag, and don't try to win every argument. They choose peace over ego. And that doesn't mean they're weak. It means they're wise. They know how to handle love without losing themselves. They know that silence can say more than shouting ever could. They don't react to everything. They respond with intention. And that's what men find beautiful. When a woman has emotional control, when she doesn't let every small thing break her spirit, it shows a level of maturity that commands respect. A peaceful woman creates a peaceful home. Her presence changes the energy of a space. A man can walk through chaos all day, but when he comes to her, he feels restored. That's something a man will protect at all costs. He knows that peace is rare, and once he finds it in a woman, he doesn't want to lose it. Her calm becomes his calm. Her laughter becomes his relief. Her presence becomes his comfort. That's why men can't resist peace. It's not just what they want, it's what they need. And when an older woman embodies that, she doesn't have to chase love. Love naturally finds her. Emotional intelligence is one of the most irresistible qualities a woman can have, especially as she grows older and wiser. It's the ability to understand emotions, both hers and someone else's, and handle them with grace. A woman with emotional intelligence doesn't react impulsively. She responds with thought. She doesn't take everything personally, and she doesn't create drama just to get attention. She's learned how to communicate, how to listen, and how to read between the lines. That kind of awareness makes her powerful in ways that beauty alone never could. Men can't resist a woman who makes them feel understood, who knows how to connect deeply without words. A woman with emotional intelligence knows that sometimes silence speaks louder than shouting. She's not quick to judge or criticize because she's lived long enough to know that everyone has a story. She knows how to comfort without controlling, how to love without losing herself, and how to give without expecting constant validation in return. A man feels that maturity. He feels safe sharing his thoughts, his fears, and his dreams because she doesn't use them against him. Instead, she listens with empathy, not ego. That's rare in a world where everyone wants to be right instead of understanding. When a woman understands emotions, she also knows how to keep balance in her relationship. She doesn't let her mood dictate how she treats her partner. If something bothers her, she addresses it calmly. She doesn't bottle things up until they explode, but she doesn't attack either. She finds that middle ground that says, I respect myself and I respect you too. That balance is what keeps men coming back. Because a man can argue with anyone, but finding someone who knows how to talk through problems without turning them into wars, that's priceless. Emotional intelligence also teaches patience. Older women often know that not every issue needs to be solved right away. Sometimes you just need to listen, breathe, and let the moment pass. She knows that love isn't about winning arguments, it's about building understanding. And when a man meets a woman who understands that, he realizes he's found something real. He doesn't feel attacked or belittled, he feels seen. And being seen is one of the deepest human needs. A woman with emotional intelligence can sense when a man is struggling. She doesn't pressure him to open up before he's ready. She gives him space, but not distance. She lets him know she's there without forcing him to talk. That patience creates trust. And once a man trusts a woman emotionally, he opens up in ways he never has before. He starts sharing his heart, his fears, and his truth. That kind of bond doesn't fade because it's built on emotional safety. Emotional intelligence also helps a woman protect her peace. She doesn't waste her time trying to fix people who don't want to be fixed. She doesn't chase love that keeps running. She knows how to walk away when her energy isn't respected. And men notice that strength. They see that she doesn't beg or bargain for attention. She loves fully, but she also knows when to let go gracefully. That self-respect, that calm wisdom, that quiet strength, it's magnetic. Men might not always know how to describe it, but they feel it when a woman has emotional depth. It's in how she speaks, how she listens, how she reacts. She doesn't need to be loud to be powerful. Her presence speaks for her. She becomes the kind of woman who brings clarity, not confusion. And in a world full of emotional chaos, that kind of woman is unforgettable. Men can't resist her because she gives them something they can't find anywhere else. Peace of mind mixed with deep emotional connection. That's what makes her stand out. That's what makes her rare. And that's what keeps her unforgettable in the hearts of men. Independence is one of the strongest and most attractive traits a woman can have, and older women often carry it with elegance and strength. A woman who is independent doesn't wait for anyone to give her permission to live her life. She has her own goals, her own rhythm, and her own standards. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to go after it. That kind of energy is powerful because it shows she's not looking for someone to save her. She's looking for someone who respects her. Men can't resist that kind of woman because she's not chasing them. She's focused on building herself. And that makes her stand out in a world where so many people are trying to please others. When a woman is independent, she moves differently. She's not anxious about whether a man will text her back. She's not sitting around waiting for attention. She's busy living her life. She's building her dreams, taking care of herself, and making her own happiness a priority. That doesn't mean she doesn't want love. It means she doesn't depend on it to feel complete. A man feels that energy immediately. He sees that she's self-sufficient, emotionally stable, and fulfilled within herself. That's a kind of confidence that no one can fake. It's attractive because it shows maturity. A man knows that if he's with her, she's choosing him, not because she needs him, but because she truly wants him. An independent woman doesn't lose herself in a relationship. She keeps her own identity, her own passions, and her own boundaries. She knows that love is about two whole people coming together, not two broken people trying to fill each other's emptiness. Men respect that because it takes strength to be whole on your own. It takes courage to walk away from situations that don't honor you. And that's something independent women have mastered. They know how to say no. They know their time, energy, and emotions are valuable, and they don't give them away cheaply. Men are naturally drawn to women who have purpose. When a woman is focused on her goals, her passion shows. Whether she's building a career, raising a family, or simply living with intention, she gives off a glow that comes from within. She's not just existing, she's thriving. That's the kind of energy that inspires a man. He doesn't feel pressure to complete her. Instead, he feels motivated to grow beside her. She becomes a partner, not a project. And let's be honest, independent women challenge men in a good way. They don't fall for empty words or surface level charm. They see through pretense and recognize real effort. A man has to bring more than just promises. He has to bring action. That's what keeps him intrigued. He knows he has to be his best self around her because she won't settle for less. And that challenge excites him. It pushes him to grow, to lead, to become a better man. That's the power of an independent woman. She doesn't demand change, she inspires it. But independence doesn't mean she's cold or distant. In fact, independent women often love deeply because their love comes from choice, not dependence. When they give their heart, they give it fully, but they never lose themselves in the process. They know how to balance love and self-respect. They can nurture a relationship while still maintaining their individuality. That's what makes them so captivating. Older women, in particular, have mastered this balance. They've learned that real strength is quiet. They don't have to announce their independence. They live it every day. They've built their own peace, learned their own worth, and created their own happiness. Men see that and can't help but admire it, because independence isn't about being alone, it's about being whole. And when a woman is whole, confident, and self-reliant, she becomes unforgettable. She becomes the kind of woman who doesn't chase love. Love naturally finds its way to her. Wisdom is one of the most powerful and beautiful qualities an older woman carries, and it's something that men can't help but be drawn to. A wise woman moves differently. She doesn't rush, she doesn't panic, and she doesn't let the small things throw her off balance. She's seen enough in life to know that everything doesn't deserve a reaction. Her calm comes from experience, her patience comes from lessons, and her understanding comes from everything she's survived. That kind of depth is magnetic because it gives her a quiet strength that most people don't have. Men feel it when they're around her. They sense that she's grounded, that she knows herself, and that she's not easily shaken. Wisdom teaches a woman what truly matters. She no longer chases superficial things like attention, money, or validation. She values peace, loyalty, honesty, and emotional connection. She knows that the loudest person in the room isn't always the strongest, and that real love isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistency, care, and respect. A wise woman doesn't get impressed by appearances. She pays attention to actions. She looks beyond charm and sees character. and that's why men respect her. They can't manipulate her with words or temporary affection because she's seen it all before. She knows the difference between someone who wants her and someone who just wants to use her time. A woman with wisdom brings guidance without trying to control. She knows how to advise with love, not criticism. She doesn't humiliate, she uplifts. She doesn't nag, she nurtures. That kind of emotional maturity creates a safe space for a man to grow. He feels that he can trust her, that she's not going to tear him down when he's vulnerable. That kind of connection is rare, and it's something men crave more than they admit. A wise woman gives him stability in a world full of uncertainty. She becomes his peace, his teacher, and his inspiration all at once. Wisdom also gives a woman clarity about herself. She's not confused about what she wants or who she is. She's done trying to fit into other people's expectations. She's learned how to love herself, flaws and all. She understands that self-worth isn't about being perfect. It's about being authentic. And when she stands in that truth, it makes her powerful. A man sees that she doesn't need external validation because she already knows her value. That self-assurance pulls him in because confidence mixed with wisdom is irresistible. Older women who have gained wisdom through experience also carry empathy. They know how to see the good in others without losing sight of reality. They can forgive, but they also know when to walk away. They understand that not everyone deserves access to their energy. And that's something that keeps them emotionally strong. They've learned how to love without losing themselves, how to care without being consumed, and how to trust without being naive. That kind of emotional balance is something younger people often struggle to find. Men are fascinated by women like that because they make life easier, not harder. A wise woman doesn't bring unnecessary drama into a man's world. She brings perspective. She helps him see things differently, pushes him to be a better version of himself, and challenges him without making him feel small. That balance of softness and strength, of compassion and intelligence is what makes her stand out. And let's not forget, wisdom gives a woman grace. She doesn't hold grudges. She doesn't seek revenge, and she doesn't let bitterness take root in her heart. She's learned that holding on to pain only steals her peace. So she lets go, moves forward, and keeps shining. That grace, that maturity, that ability to stay kind after being hurt, that's real power. And men feel that. They see that she's not like everyone else. She's different in the best way, real, calm, understanding, and wise. And that's the kind of woman they can't resist because she's not only beautiful on the outside, she's deeply beautiful within. Presence is something you can't fake. It's that quiet power a woman carries when she knows exactly who she is and doesn't need to prove it to anyone. When she walks into a room, she doesn't need to speak loudly or demand attention. People naturally notice her. It's the way she carries herself, the calm in her energy, the confidence in her eyes, the warmth in her smile. Men can't resist that kind of presence because it's rare. In a world full of noise, she stands out by being centered. She doesn't chase attention. Attention naturally finds her. That's what makes an older woman with presence unforgettable. She has lived, learned, loved, lost, and grown. And all of that experience shines through her without her having to say a word. A woman with presence doesn't compete. She doesn't need to prove she's better than anyone else because she's secure in her own lane. She understands that real beauty isn't about age or perfection. It's about energy. It's about how she treats people, how she makes others feel, and how she carries her heart. Her strength isn't loud, but it's steady. Her confidence isn't boastful, but it's undeniable. That's what draws men in. Her energy feels safe, real, and magnetic. She doesn't try to impress, she just is. Men are drawn to women who know their worth. When a woman has presence, she's not easily swayed by temporary attention. She doesn't beg for love or chase validation. She knows that if someone doesn't see her value, that's their loss, not hers. And that kind of self-assurance changes how people treat her. A man feels it immediately. He knows he can't play games with her. He has to approach her with honesty and respect because her energy demands it. That's the beauty of presence. It commands respect without saying a word. An older woman with presence understands the art of silence. She doesn't speak just to fill the air. When she talks, people listen because her words carry weight. She's thoughtful, she's aware, and she's intentional. And when she's quiet, her silence speaks volumes. She can communicate confidence, care, and authority without raising her voice. That balance between calm and power is deeply attractive to men. It shows emotional maturity, a sense of control and self-awareness that's incredibly rare. Presence also comes from knowing how to carry pain with grace. A woman who has experienced heartbreak, failure, and disappointment, but still chooses kindness radiates a different kind of strength. She's not bitter, she's wise. She doesn't need revenge, she's found peace. She doesn't need to prove she's strong, her calm says it for her. Men feel that energy. It draws them in because it's healing. It feels safe to be around someone who's not chaotic, not reactive, not toxic, just steady and sure of herself. When a woman has presence, she doesn't rely on external things to feel valuable. It's not about the clothes she wears, the car she drives, or the attention she gets. It's about how she carries herself through life. Her kindness, her grace, her laughter, her confidence. That's her power. Men might be attracted to looks at first, but presence is what makes them stay. It's that intangible feeling that she's different, that she's special, that she's grounded in who she is. A woman with presence doesn't force love, friendships, or opportunities. She trusts that what's meant for her will always find her. That calm faith in herself and in life is what makes her magnetic. She doesn't run after anyone, yet people find themselves drawn to her again and again. She inspires without trying, leads without forcing, and loves without losing herself. That's the kind of woman who leaves an impression long after she's gone. Men remember how she made them feel, respected, inspired, and peaceful. Her presence lingers even in silence. Because when a woman knows her worth, carries her grace, and walks through the world with quiet confidence, she becomes unforgettable. Men can't resist her not because she tries to be noticed, but because she shines effortlessly from within.